Luke, Leia, R2, 3PO, Han, what do they all have in common? They were all in the original rough draft of Star Wars written by George Lucas. But who's missing? Chewbacca. Now, to be fair, Han Solo was described as a large green monster with no nose and gills. But it's not even until the second draft in 1975 that we even meet the character known as Chewbacca.
Chewie, come here.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
This is somewhat surprising that a character who everyone loves, well, almost everyone, doesn't show up until the almost end final product of the script. But that's exactly what happened. And even then, this hairy sidekick was not meant to be very important. So what changed? How did this seemingly insignificant character become everyone's favorite sidekick?
It's because a droid don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
George Lucas got the idea for this iconic furball from his dog, Indiana. As many of you know, George would be driving around with his dog in the passenger seat next to him, and he would see the hair flowing through the wind, and it gave him the idea for a co-pilot that was furry, just like his loyal pet, Indiana. And so was born the idea of Chewbacca, this lovable, loyal sidekick to Han Solo that would be with him through all of the original films. And out of the original cast, we see that Chewbacca is the most loyal, particularly when we come to an understanding of the life debt and the reason he's even with Han Solo in the first place. Interestingly enough, the idea alone did not garner enough weight to take up much room in the script, only adding up to about 2 pages of material in total for Chewbacca. So how does Chewbacca go from just 2 pages to being one of the most iconic characters in Star Wars? It's all because of George Lucas's genius. It's not just about great character design or good writing or directing. Instead, it was about feel. George saw and felt once Chewbacca was there and part of the cast that there was something special happening. Something started to click after the cameras began rolling. After casting Peter Mayhew, the 7'3" hospital orderly, to be the man in the suit, George realized that he needed to give more Chewie. And that's exactly what happened as we see the role of Chewbacca increase in The Empire Strikes Back, going from just a 12% amount of screen time in the first movie to over 16% of time. We start to see the role and character of Chewbacca come to fruition more than just the grunts and the laughs that we might have seen in A New Hope, to now being part of the emotional building of the scenes, the connection between Han and Chewie being played out.
R2 says the chances of survival are 725 to 1.
The moments where we start to see the genius of Chewbacca being able to fix the Millennium Falcon, being able to put C-3PO back together, all of these things being built into this character and giving us more of a backstory on this Wookiee who we love. Though there were still some like Roger Ebert who would look at The Empire Strikes Back and still criticize for giving too much screen time to Chewbacca, and even criticizing the noises and growls.
If Empire reveals a weakness this time around, it's in the character of Chewbacca, whose mournful howls get a little tiresome after a while.
We can now look back on this and say, no, it wasn't. It was absolutely perfect. And this is exactly what Empire did. It took those original cast of heroes that we fell in love with in episode 4 and gave us more character, more build-up, more story, more context to them. And that's what made Empire Strikes Back such a good movie, because it made us fall in love all over again with all of this original cast who we were introduced in the first movie. If A New Hope is the launching pad for this lovable Wookiee, we can see that it's in Empire Strikes Back that he becomes the best sidekick of all time. There are moments in time for one reason or another that catch lightning in a bottle. And that's exactly what happened here with Chewbacca. Not many people would think that an 8-foot tall, growling Wookiee with no discernible lines that were understandable to anyone other than Han would make sense in a movie, but that's exactly what made Chewie so different. And that's exactly why there were things like petitions to get Chewie his medal, because he was so loved. That's also exactly why fans, when Chewbacca was killed off in 1999 in a book, wrote death threats to the author. Yes, that actually happened, unfortunately, because this character was so dearly loved by fans that they could not imagine him being killed off in that way and not getting to say goodbye on the screen. Star Wars and Chewbacca are inseparable. It's virtually impossible to imagine the galaxy far, far away without this hairy lug. But even with all that, there's so much that people don't know about Chewbacca. So click right here on this video to find out the 32 crazy facts you need to know about Chewbacca today.